JAMN 95.7, San Diego's only hip-hop and R&B station.
JAMN 95.7, what up? It's your boy Loui. I got a special guest in the building. We got Bryce Vine in the house. What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
What's going on, dude? What you got going on right now?
Just happy to be back in warm weather, man. I've been on tour for like 3.5 weeks in just the coldest parts of the country. So
where you been, man?
Nice.
Tell me about it.
I've been Indianapolis. That was freezing. We just came from a blizzard in Omaha. Have you been in a blizzard before?
Never been in a blizzard.
Yeah,
I'm
me
going to be
too.
going to the mountains this weekend. So
Where are you going?
It's going to be snowing. I'm going to Bear Mountain.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I always knew the word blizzard. It's actually just a ton of snow, and people can't get anywhere, and they close the interstate off. We were like stuck in Omaha for a while. We actually went and got sandwiches at the only place that was like a little bit open, and got extra because we didn't know if we were going to get snowed in and have to pretend like it was the end of the world. Yeah.
Where are you originally from?
I was born in New York, but I grew up in Cali. I grew up in LA.
So you're not really used to that snow life.
I mean, I went to school in Boston.
Okay.
And so I spent 2 years in it.
Tell me a little bit about how you started your music, man.
Super young. Yeah, I was like 13 years old.
Yeah.
I got a guitar for my birthday, and I just taught myself how to play it like one string at a time. I just used tabs on the internet and started learning songs that I liked.
Who are your inspirations or people that you look up to when you make your music and stuff like that?
So my favorite band is Third Eye Blind,
Okay.
which is not usually expected. But I love everything, man. I mean, I like find little pieces of everything. Like I love Fela Kuti all the way to Rancid and Frank Ocean and Curtis Mayfield, Gorillaz.
That's dope.
Kind of all over the
It's a variety
spectrum.
of different things, man.
Yeah. I mean, we live in a world where everybody's like mixed and looks different, and is like there's so many things melding together already that it's great now because I already have that background of, I mean, and I'm mixed in general, so it's easy to find little pieces of different genres and music and kind of Frankenstein it together.
Yeah,
That's
like-
what Drew Barrymore was.
And I was listening to it, and I was just telling you, man, it kind of gave me a Miguel vibe to it. Like, I was listening to the beginning of the song, and it's like, yo, this kind of sounds like a little bit of a Miguel thing going on.
Yeah, that's never a bad thing.
And you
That's-
said you met him?
I did, yeah. I got to meet Miguel in Vegas at a party. It was like a classic moment that I never thought I was gonna have. He like walked right up to me almost in slow-mo, and he had like a bottle of this really expensive tequila, and he goes, "Yo, man, you want to take a shot with me?" I'm like, "Yes, I do, Miguel."
That's
Yes,
what's
I do.
up, bro.
Yeah, cool as hell.
Did you ever keep in contact with him and hang out with him another time? Or
Yeah, we
chill?
play badminton on the weekends. No, I mean like
You gotta
I haven't hit him up,
Hey, yo, if he's bringing the bottles, bro, you gotta
right?
know,
Yeah,
hit the club with this guy. How are the girls treating you?
the girls, definitely better than they did in high school.
Oh,
for
is that
sure.
right?
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Tell me about your high school life. How was that?
High school was, I mean, it was fine. I was a band kid. I was in a punk band in high school, so
Yeah.
that was my thing. You know, I knew music was my thing so early that I didn't really have to try to find a crowd to fit into. I just found my people and was writing songs in class all the time and getting in trouble for that.
Would you describe yourself as one of the popular kids or not really?
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, not like, it wasn't like that. You know, by the time I was in high school, it wasn't like there were these like the jock clique and
Yeah.
the stoner clique. It was just like,
Are you saying that that's kind of dying out?
yeah, it
nowadays?
for sure is,
Yeah.
because what's cool now was like what every 80s movie used to make fun of, like the nerdy kids with the glasses
man.
can totally just be just as popular. It's like if you're vegan, you're already like a cooler kid. Like that would have never happened in high school.
So
Back
you were
when.
born in New York, and
Yeah.
when did you move to LA?
When I was like 1.
Oh, okay. So you don't know you don't really remember New York at
Well,
all.
yeah, no, we go there every summer to visit family and stuff like that. So I'd spend a lot of summers in the city with my dad and drive around listening to like jazz music. And I had an aunt that owned a little restaurant called Jezebel's in Hell's Kitchen. It was like the first black-owned, especially female black-owned restaurant in Hell's Kitchen.
I heard that actually that you were inspired by jazz music. That's like one of the things that you listen to and kind of
Yeah,
into.
it relaxes me for sure. It's funny because I used to kind of hate it when I was a kid. Like when my grandfather would drive me around the city playing like Herbie Hancock and Cannonball Adderley, and I'd be like, oh, can we just turn this off? And now I play it on my own just when I'm driving around to relax. I feel like I'm living in a different time.
Yo, any differences between New York and LA in the music scene?
Tons of differences. Yeah.
So tell me about
There's
that.
an edge.
I've never been to New York.
You never been to New York?
No, never
There's
been to
just
New York.
like, I mean, there's just like an edge to the music and the culture that comes from New York that I haven't seen really anywhere else.
Yeah.
Just a willingness to be the leaders of a culture and a style and music. Like, there's so many different things going on there. It's like what I do is find all this different music and then try to make it, but you don't have to find it in New York. Everything's right there. You know, there's Little Italy all the way to Little Armenia, and everyone's from a different place and speaks a different language. It's so versatile already that you can't help but be a little more ahead of the curve if you live there and grew up there.
Dude, that's what's up, because you basically got it, bro. Because you live in LA and you
get the sunshine of
and then
LA.
you go to New York a lot and kind of mix those two styles together.
For sure, man. Yeah, for sure.
It's an advantage for sure, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cali lifestyle with that New York swag, you know what I'm saying?
I think living different places for anybody, you know, it just widens your perspective of the world and of like culture, music, everything. I don't think it's ever a bad thing to live in different cities and see different places.
So, tell me about the Glee Project, bro.
Yeah.
How did that start?
So I went to college in Boston. I went to Berklee College of Music. I right after high school, I kept playing with my band for a little bit, and I auditioned to get in Berklee with a song that I written with them. And then the first year that I was there, any music opportunity that comes up in a school like Berklee, everyone's going to find out about, because that's what we're there for. We're trying to take any opportunity that we can get. There's no real guarantees in music. So my mom called me on the last day that they were doing this Glee Project thing that I had heard a little bit about, and she convinced me to put up like a little video online, and I just did like Gold Digger by Kanye West.
Yeah.
And then I kept getting a call back.
Hold on. Were you feeling some type of way or something?
Feeling some type of way?
By singing that song? Like, were you feeling some type of way that at that certain time you were like, hey, man, I got to sing this song. This girl did me dirty or something like that?
They actually gave you options of the songs to sing, and all of the other songs that you could sing for the audition were like Katy Perry, Bruno Mars, like all these things that I don't even have a range for. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'll just sing Gold Digger by Kanye. No, it wasn't like a personal thing, but I could see how if it was my choice, that'd be a weird choice.
Yeah, that's funny.
So yeah, I just kept getting called back for that, and then all of a sudden I was like one of 12 kids to get chosen for this Glee Project thing, and immediately realized that it was not the right move for me.
Oh, man.
Like once we started filming, I was the first one off that show.
Yeah. You didn't like the experience that much, or it
I
was
loved.
cool,
I mean,
or
the
what?
experience was great in retrospect. You know, like I learned a lot. You learn how to deal with scrutiny, you know, from an audience that you have no control over, and you learn how to work a little bit in front of the camera, and you learn, kind of what it takes to get into the routine of the work that you have to put in to do this kind of thing. You know, it gets you prepared for that.
So you said you were in band in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And were you used to kind of performing in large crowds already because of that?
Large crowds, yeah, like 20 of my close friends that would come to every show.
So,
you know?
So it was kind of like a different experience for sure.
Like I had gained a comfort in performing for sure, just like from performing around LA and in town and stuff, and having a band and playing guitar and like having all these things that made me comfortable on stage. But then once I got to school and I didn't have the band anymore, and someone hands me a mic, and I feel naked again. So it was like learning it all over again.
Oh man, it's crazy.
You know, and learning to perform with just your hands and your body movements was a whole different thing than just being here. You know.
Anything else that you can play besides the guitar?
Yeah, I play ukulele, which is really fun, and a little bit of keys just when I'm like making a beat or something like that. But that's pretty much
What's
it.
your favorite thing to play on that?
On
the ukulele.
On the ukulele?
Yeah. Don't say Over the Rainbow.
No. With that guy with a really long last name who covered that, the Hawaiian dude. No, my favorite song to play on the ukulele. The Scientist by Coldplay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you a few fun questions.
Yeah.
So people can get to know you a little bit better.
For sure.
So, what's your favorite food, bro?
Fruit?
Food.
Oh, my favorite food. Sushi.
Sushi?
Yeah.
What's your favorite roll?
I don't know.
Or what do you like in your sushi?
Salmon.
Salmon.
I'm obsessed with salmon. Yeah.
Do you have any guilty pleasures?
You
You have one guilty pleasure. What would it be?
I just binge watched that show You on Netflix.
Dude, I
That
heard
was a
about
guilty
that
pleasure.
show. I haven't gotten
You
to
haven't
it.
seen it yet?
Nah.
That was a pretty guilty pleasure. It wasn't like a typical show that I would usually watch either, and I don't. But it's interesting. You should try it out.
For sure. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of things about this show.
Have you seen The Punisher?
No.
It's so good.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
it's
another
unreal.
one.
It's unreal. Yeah, that's a guilty pleasure for sure.
What about something that most people would not know about you?
I was a pretty big anime geek for a long time. Like I used to go to tournaments on Friday nights. Like this was my Friday nights. I would go to tournaments and play Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that. And I was like what I did for like a year. I was a total nerd for it. And I love like Dragon Ball Z and all that.
I don't blame you, bro. I grew up with the Pokemon era when it first came
man,
out.
me too.
And I played the Pokemon cards and everything.
Yo,
so I ain't blaming you, man.
It took over the world.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
And then when Pokemon Go came out, there's another level.
I didn't play it. I mean, I feel like I was like past it now. Like I had my Pokemon fill as a child.
You're good.
People don't expect that I read a lot. I keep trying to like always, keep the creative juices going in my brain. So like I started reading a lot more like 3 years ago, and just got myself in the habit of doing it. It helps. It helps with writing.
What about the worst advice somebody's ever given you?
There's no such thing as bad publicity. Yes, there is.
Okay. Elaborate on that. What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, it depends on what kind of person you are for sure, but like, I'm still a human being. My name is my name. So like what gets said about me or like what people think based on a situation, or like even if it's good for publicity doesn't mean it's good for me and my soul as a person. And the more that you let yourself like be swallowed by what seems like a good thing just because your name is out there, it's like you lose yourself.
Especially right now with all the social media and everybody just jumps on somebody because they said a certain thing or whatever, like Kevin Hart, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
the whole situation
he said
was,
something 10 years ago, I think, and they demanded an apology.
Is that kind of what you're talking about? Kind of like that, like when people say stuff and you just got to be careful what you got to say nowadays with this whole social media thing?
More like I've had people tell me that I should date a celebrity because it would be good for my image. And I don't give a shit.
You're like, nah.
I want to date somebody that I love.
I'm cool with that one.
That's
you
an example of
Drew Barrymore, bro.
Yeah, like, and like that's like an example of like when publicity becomes more important than your own soul, and it's like, and that's almost what people mean by it. It's like there's no such thing as bad publicity. It's like, yeah, there absolutely is.
Going back to Drew Barrymore, tell me more about this song. What you got coming up? What's the deal, man?
La La Land comes out tomorrow, the next one, which is crazy. Finally got the second single ready to go, and we have a version of it with YG on it, which is sick. I just shot the video for it with him 2 days ago in LA.
How was that working with him?
He's cool, man.
Yeah.
I mean, as cool as a blood can be. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't like, yo, we should go to the movies sometime. He was just like, yo, man, much respect. Yo, much love, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But his verse is dope. He came in. He got there a half hour early, which I would never expect.
You got good work ethic.
Yeah, man, he does. He was a cool dude. But you asked me about Drew Barrymore specifically.
Because I remember I saw a little bit of what you said about what am I saying?
Drew Barrymore?
Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore. That you kind of got inspired because there's not a lot of girls kind of like with her style
yeah, I mean, they just don't get represented in music. There's a lot of girls like that, but they just like don't get represented in music. It's either like the club chick or like the beautiful model, whatever. There's not like a lot of songs for the girl who goes to work every day and like makes a living and then goes home to like her dog. You know what I mean? There's just not that.
So like more of a down to earth type of girl.
Yeah, exactly. A down to earth kind of girl. Yeah.
Last question before we go. Any people that you want to work with?
I would love to be in the studio with Gambino and just like see what he does when he's coming up with stuff.
He's a genius,
Yeah,
man.
he is.
I was listening to his music before he blew up with his whole
This Is America.
This Is America.
Yeah.
And when that blew up, it was another level.
But even, I mean, Redbone was like a completely different kind of song and classic, like a perfect song. We were talking about examples of perfect songs the other day. Like, what's a song that you think is perfect?
I'm like a big Michael Jackson fan, so like Billie Jean or something like that.
Great example.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's fun to think about songs that you can always listen to every single time that they come on. You're just invested and you're willing to listen to the whole thing.
Yeah. That is it with my homie Bryce
My
Vine
man.
in the building. We about to get on out of here. Let them know where they can find you and the next place that they can see you at, man.
Yeah, it's just my socials are all at Bryce Vine. And I'm playing tonight at Soma, but it's sold out. The whole tour sold out, which is dope.
Oh, that's what's up.
And then
Congrats, bro.
thanks, dude. And then where's tomorrow? Santa Ana tomorrow. So just keep on moving. It's nice to be back in the sun. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, man. That's Bryce Vine here at JAMN 95.7. We'll see you later.
Oh
Peace.
man, appreciate it.
JAMN 95.7, San Diego's only hip hop and R&B station.